My name is Gwendunes Gonzalez. I'm an education officer for the Stankway district, but I'm also involved with the National Garifuna Council as a cultural promoter. At some of the primary schools, they teach Garifuna, but not to the extent that we would like it. In Hopkins, that's, well, once they're native, you'll find that mostly we speak the Garifuna language. Like in my home here, with my daughter, our rule is you don't speak Creole. You speak Garifuna or English, and most of the time we speak Garifuna. With my mom, we speak Garifuna. But in the town, now, like I told you, that the last of the language, some of the Garifuna communities like Georgetown and St. Bite, you find that the younger children are not speaking Garifuna, but in Hopkins you find that the younger children, they still speak the Garifuna language. But I believe that manhood has been defined from way back. You have your role as a man, and that defines manhood. So I don't believe that unemployment should be an excuse for drinking. Create your own. Be self-sufficient. Because with the Garina, yes, they would take their drink in the past, but they were self-sufficient people, right? And again, going back to trying to be who you're not, right? So they've lost that self-sufficiency. Part of the reality, that, like I told you, right? When the colonial masters came, they said, okay, these people are devil worshippers. They are cannibals. They eat people. So they come with their own negative falsehood. So as a result, now the others see us as that little animal down there that, you know, and they also see us as dumb. Some of the younger generation will find that it's weaning out, but some of the older folks, it's rough, because I know of some people myself who married and like the Garifuna side would accept them, but the next side, they live in hell. They don't even want to associate with their children. There's a whole awakening in regards of the Garifuna culture, Garifuna language, because people they now know. Some who have never heard, now hear and know. So that interest, so that fire of interest is now flaming up. And so I believe that has been a very positive for the Garifuna people.
For you, what's the most proudest thing of being a Garifuna?
I mean, the fact that you can speak your language, you have a completely different way of life. You have so many values that you learn from speaking the Garifuna language, the words that children use among themselves, the words that children use to adults. So it automatically teaches respect if they learn it. And I always say, don't condemn what you don't know about. The churches have condemned certain rituals that we do, and they don't understand. The priests, they come, they don't even understand. The pastors, they come, they don't understand. But once they study it and understand it, they realize that, hey, we were a strong people because of the core values that we live by.
I was 2 weeks old when my parents got to Benque Viejo. This is where I went to school down the road. And this is where I ended up coming back after going out to study music many years. I came back and I decided to start Stone Tree Records. It was a natural place to me to do it. I grew up right across the street in that house. The language, the Garifuna language, is an Arawak-based language, which is a native Caribbean language, and the melodies are more native Caribbean. And sometimes you even hear in some of the work songs, like the Abue Mahanis, you even hear certain Indian melodies. I'm talking about North American Indian melodic vibes there. And I guess that's part of what makes the garifuna music so interesting and appealing, because it's clearly rooted in Africa, but it's not African music. It's something more. And that's what makes it so original and so new. So I wouldn't say garifuna music is at all an African music. It's a truly Caribbean product. It's something that was born in the Caribbean. Garifuna music was born in the Caribbean, and it's a mixture of both African traditions and native Caribbean traditions. So, for example, this is a fact that hasn't been studied yet by anthropologists or musicologists. It's still a work that needs to be done. For example, to trace the garifuna rhythms to rhythms in West Africa. Everybody seems to be certain that the origins were in West Africa. And for example, I've heard many African musicologists point out that in Ghana, there are very similar rhythms, like for example to the Punta rhythm. And also a lot of connection with the dances to Senegal. My parents used to go every year to Settlement Day in Dangriga. And I remember being 4, 5, 6 years old, and every year take the excursion down to Dangriga. Back those days there was no road, no highway, there was all dirt road. You almost had to spend a whole day to get to Dangriga. And I remember spending the day there in the Pelican Beach Hotel, surrounded by paintings by Benjamin Nicholas, Ben Cayetano, drumming all day and night. Later on, when I was studying music, I fell deeply in love with West African music. I developed a passion for I already liked a lot of blues when I started getting into music, and then later on into West African music. And when I came back to Bélize and I decided I wanted to be a producer, that was like a natural thing. The garifuna drums were in me somehow, and I thought, this is something that I really want to do.